Hello and good morning. Welcome to another NAWBO Member Love Live. We are joined today by Jeanette Lira of Auravia Therapy. Hi,
Hi.
Jeanette. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for
Good.
inviting me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. No, we're so excited to learn more about you and your business. You do a wonderful, wonderful, set of services for the community that are so very needed, and we are excited to learn more about it. So, tell me more about Auravia Therapy. How did you learn, or how did you decide that mental health and wellness was going to be, for you?
Yeah, well, that's a great little story. I'll give a little version of it. So, I was actually once a school counselor for about 8 years, give or take,
Hmm.
and I worked mostly in Title I schools. And I mean, I just loved it. But in schools, you really don't get a chance to do real therapy. And I saw there was so many kids that would slip through the cracks, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And on top of all of that, I had a brother who was struggling with mental health who actually died, and he died, I guess, about 12 years ago. I lose track all the time. But that was the thing that kind of pushed me into high gear and said, you know what? Like, it's time to leave this behind. It's time to make a difference. People shouldn't have to
Mm-hmm.
suffer. There's no need for young people to lose their lives due to mental health, and build something for the community that's safe and that you can help people. So that
Hmm.
was just the big that's the wall that I hit, and I was like, okay, I got
Hmm.
to get out of here. So I put in my notice, and I was working with a wonderful woman, Dr. Alanis, with San Antonio Counseling and Behavioral Center, and
Hmm.
she was a wonderful guide and very helpful. And I learned so much from her. And then from there, I decided, you know what, I can do this too. So I Googled how to start a business. And here we are, 8 years later. We've been in practice.
Wow.
We have like gotten a little smaller. At one
Mm.
point, we had 4 locations and a little over 40 therapists.
Wow.
Today, we have a location in Helotes and in the medical center, and
Hmm.
we have about 20-ish therapists.
Okay.
And we see children, family, young adults, grief, divorce, depression, anxiety. We have so many therapists that specialize in different things and different types of therapy. And the
Mm.
goal is to make an impact on our community so they don't have to suffer as my family did.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I love that you saw a need and you decided to, be the one to fill it. You didn't wait for somebody else. You didn't wait for, somebody to come and save you. It was like, no, I'm going to be the one to put that on my shoulders.
Mhm.
Walk me through, you mentioned we went all the way up to 4. Now we're, at a point where we've kind of condensed a little bit. What did you feel like you learned through that experience and, kind of came out on the other side better?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when you Google a business and you just decide like how to start a business and then you just go with no training, no schooling, nothing, you don't know about these things. And the pivot when things have to change, or when the environment shifts, you have to learn to pivot. You can't just give up
Mm.
and say, "Oh, well, I guess this isn't meant for me." It's
Mhm.
more about learning when anything it feels like a failure, like it's not working, I did something wrong. It's not that we did something wrong, it's that we didn't do it with all the knowledge that we needed to get it started. And so
Mm.
I've learned to pivot, because I fail every day, all the time, as an entrepreneur. Like I'm just used to it. I
Mhm.
don't even see it as a bad thing anymore. I see failure as a way to learn, so I
Yeah.
can pivot, and then I can
Mhm.
share that information with other wonderful women entrepreneurs, especially with NAWBO. I love this community. We'll talk more about it later. But
Mhm.
I've learned that even if it doesn't go well, you can always take what happened, figure it
Mhm.
out, and decide
Mhm.
what to do with it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I definitely think that's, part of the journey as an entrepreneur is learning that, each of those missteps was not the end of the road. It was just
Mhm.
another curve, another bump. You know, my husband always says, we always say like duck and
Yep,
weave, just keep going. You're fine.
yep. Get up,
Um,
dust yourself off, and let's keep
yeah.
going.
So walk me through too. I mean, 20 therapists is still a huge group. That is, you know, a lot of different specialties and personalities. What do you feel like you are able to create with your practice that keeps so many therapists saying, okay, this is, I want to be a part of this versus starting my own practice or doing my own thing?
Yeah, so I think Auravia has definitely a special kind of team. We are more of a family, and each therapist has their own autonomy. I'm not going to dictate how many people you have to see, how when you have to see them, what your hours are going to be. You don't have to request vacation. If you want to take vacation, take vacation.
Mm,
Um, so I think we built a community with the Auravia therapists. We train each other. We communicate with each other on a regular basis. We celebrate with each other. We get together in person probably twice a year. And then
mm,
we have staff meetings every other month just to kind of do updates and see each other. But I think it's so important. A lot of businesses feel like they have to have like some control. And yes, we do, right? To a certain
mhm.
extent. But that's what handbooks are for. That's what systems and policies are for. And we do have those. It's
Mhm.
just we allow the therapist to be their own person.
Mhm. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm sure that gives them the freedom to be the best therapist they can possibly be. So it's, you know, a you know, lovely cycle that you're helping them kind of fulfill.
Yeah.
Now I think when a lot of people hear mental health or therapy, you know, they assume, well, there's no way I can afford that. There's no way my insurance isn't going to cover it. I'm not going to be able to, you know, do that. There's just no way, it's not in the budget. How do you guys help make it accessible or at least, you know, walk people through the process of being able to see if they can, you know, make it work?
Yeah, I definitely would love to tell you that. But again, on therapy itself, so many people believe that they have to have something wrong with them to go to therapy, and
Mm,
you
right.
really don't. I have
Yeah.
a therapist. I encourage all of our therapists to have therapists because we are all human and we all have moments in our lives where things just don't work the way we want them to, right? And a lot of
Mm,
that comes from patterns in our life that don't serve us anymore. And the only way that you're going to learn how to not do that pattern again is to understand the underlining stuff, put meaning to it, and then create a plan to get out of it. And
mm.
so I had to get on my soapbox for a moment with that.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
Therapy is for everyone, but
Mm,
also it is very much affordable. We do have private pay rates based on our clinicians' expertise and what they can offer. But we also take insurance, and I think we're one of the clinics here in town that also takes Medicaid. So
mm,
we take Medicaid. We have a sliding scale. We're also kind of like a learning facility. We partner with universities here in San Antonio to train their interns, their
mm,
counselors. So we have interns on staff. Well, they're not really on staff, they're here to learn.
mhm,
So they come in and they are our sliding scale. We also train um, a therapist in their associate level. So you have to get 3,000 hours after you graduate so that you can practice
mhm,
independently. And so we also support our associates in creating their practice, creating their professional identity. So that is another level of sliding scale that we use at the clinic as well. And
mm,
I mean, we're all human, right? So if you can't pay for some reason, talk to us. We set up payment
mm,
plans if necessary. But most insurances do pay for therapy. Um,
mm.
each insurance pays for a certain amount of days, but the majority of them will pay for about 365 visits a year.
Mm. Wow. That is phenomenal.
Mhm.
So, in terms of your guys's, you know, wide range of services, wide range of people that you can help, I think a lot of times it ends up being on, you know, the wife, the mother of the family to, you know, okay, I'm going to go out and book for my son or book for my daughter or book for my husband. how do you encourage them to, say the right words to get the husband to go to therapy, or to get, daughter or son to say, okay, fine, I'll
Mhm.
go and I'll get help? What is that conversation like to kind of help that woman who may be trying to encourage that loved one to just try therapy, just go?
That's a great question. So I have a lot of women that come to therapy themselves and they're like, my kids would benefit from this, or my husband would really benefit from this. And my words to them are to talk about healing, talk about what it does
Mm,
for you, talk about what you talked about with your therapist. Because again, I think there's a stigma around therapy, right? You have to be broken to go and see us. And no,
mm,
you don't. Um, you have to have something that's not working right. And if your wife thinks you need to go to therapy, that's something that's not working right. So it's the way we speak to our spouses though, and
mm,
encouraging them, not an ultimatum, nothing like that. It's more
mm,
like, this is what we go over in therapy. I would really love for you to join me. I have a lot
mhm,
of women that join, like bring their husband in just to kind of see what therapy is all about. They're not a
mhm,
client. They're just kind of in there for a few minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes. And
mm,
they get to see what therapy really is, which causes them to be like, "Oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Let
mm,
me go ahead and book the appointment."
mhm.
And with kids, I mean, we're their moms. We're gonna force them to go. Don't ask, just send them. That with kids, that therapy is a little bit different, right? We're gonna get to know the kid, give them a safe space, give them a place where
Mhm,
they can communicate, where they can be themselves without any judgment, and it's just really healthy for the whole family to attend.
mhm,
So the one thing I would definitely say is, if you want your family to attend, make sure you're attending first. Go and get your toes wet, go in, see the therapist. Like I said, you don't have to have a problem to be there. But also, if
mhm,
you want your family in therapy, that's a problem, right?
mm,
And we
mhm.
can help you get them there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the good news is I think too, like this younger generation is much more comfortable with the idea of
Mhm.
therapy. They do some socio, emotional learning at school, and they, talk about their feelings, and they know, that that's just normal and that's fine. So I feel like we are coming a long way as far as, kids feeling like, oh yeah, let's go. I don't feel like that's intimidating or embarrassing, if my classmates find out, like, I think it's just much more
Yeah.
accepted,
I think,
society-wise.
yeah, I think having a therapist is like trending now. Like everyone
Yeah,
wants one.
yeah. It's the new accessory, it's the new bag.
Exactly.
You gotta have a therapist, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So you have been a NAWBO member for just under a year.
Mhm.
Tell me more about, how did you find us? How did you come across the chapter?
Yeah. So I was just scrolling one night through LinkedIn, letting my anxiety brain kick in, and I was just
Good,
scrolling,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I had seen, one of my good friends, Sarah, Rivera, she's also a business owner. She had posted something about NAWBO, and so I had followed it, and I saw that you were doing a membership drive in November, and, like, it was $50 off, so I was like, "Why not?" Right?
Yeah, yeah.
But before that, I had made every year I create goals for myself, right? And one of the goals this year was to connect with more women and business owners in San Antonio. I
Mm,
have a mastermind group that I'm with in the Las Vegas area, and all of us women are all over the US.
mm,
And I loved how we have grown together, and how a community can do so much great work with uplifting each other and helping each other grow. So
yeah.
I was like, I need that here. I didn't have it here. And so
Mhm.
I saw that I could join. So I joined, and I really haven't done much with NAWBO,
Mm.
but I have begun to these past couple of months, and it's been great.
Yeah. No, I love that because I think I have the same thing. I have some groups that are
Mhm,
just, agency owners, and we kind of have this certain conversation that we can have, and we can talk
mhm,
about challenges in the industry specifically. And then you kind of pivot to like the NAWBO conversation is much more, what do you need locally? How can I connect you? How can I get you plugged in with, whatever resource it is that you need? And I love that you joined during our membership drive. That's always
mhm,
such a fun time because we have this lovely influx of new members.
mhm.
And so you are one of those that are very, very exciting for us to see. So when you started coming to NAWBO events, what was that like? Because I think that's one thing we see sometimes is we have women that join, but then getting over the hurdle of actually coming to, the first thing and diving in is still like really scary.
Mhm.
So walk me through what was that like?
Sure. At first, I mean, there's so many things that come in, right? And so it's finding what fits with the schedule. Like, what can I actually go
Mhm.
to?
Mhm.
And the first thing I was actually able to go to was, I think it was a coffee right before the monthly meeting. I
Yes.
didn't
Okay.
know there was a monthly meeting, but I showed up to the coffee at the veranda and they're like, "Are you here for the meeting?" I was like, "I'm here for the coffee thing." And they're like, "Oh." I was like, "Is there a meeting?"
Yeah.
Okay, sure. But I always feel like when you go to something, if you're not confident speaking up and being like, "Hey, can I get into this?" It
Mhm.
is a little nerve-wracking, right?
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
people that were there at the coffee were very welcoming. They asked me who I was. They talked to me. They wanted to know about me, which was really nice. And then when I got into the actual monthly meeting part, like the lunch,
Mhm.
I just kinda moved around and talked to people. "Who are you?" "Oh, I know
Mhm.
you. I see you on social media," and kind
Mhm.
of making conversation, but the women were pretty much very welcoming.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I love that we've now kinda combined, like, you can do the coffee, then stay for the lunch.
mhm.
We just need to add on, like, happy hour after, so it's like
Yes,
every month we just
all
have a
day, right?
full day of, like, hanging out with Nalbo. But
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I love to hear that, absolutely.
Mhm.
And what do you feel like in terms of, growing your business in San Antonio, has it been the same kind of journey where it's like as soon as you put yourself out there, there's the influx of opportunities, or
Mhm.
is there a challenge to growing your business in San Antonio? What has that been like for you?
So growing the business has never really been hard. Being in
Mm,
the medical profession, I think it's just learning how to market based on what your business is, because
mhm,
every business is gonna have a different form of marketing,
mhm.
and one is gonna work better than the other. Like, Facebook ads and social media really doesn't work for mental health.
Yeah.
You really need to get out there and book events, speak, um, go to little coffee things, like talk to people, tell them what you do. Um, have good rapport with your clients because so many of our clients they see progress and they want their friends and their family and everyone to come. So
Mhm,
I think a lot of when it comes to growing a business in San Antonio or anywhere, it's connecting with people that have similar businesses and asking them
mhm,
like,
mhm,
what works for you? Like, I'm trying this isn't working. What would you suggest? It's just
mhm,
really hard to find people that are willing to give that information.
mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, a lot of us are stuck in that mindset of like, this is mine, you can't take it because then you're gonna take
Mhm,
all my people. But
mhm.
I mean, if you look at it really, I mean, how many people are in the world, right?
Right, right.
There are
Yeah,
countless people that any business can help, and
yeah.
not everybody is gonna be a fit for my form of therapy.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I heard the other day I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about a like industry group where they share actual like revenue numbers and like P&Ls, but they always put the revenue in terms of like percentages. So nobody knows your exact numbers, but it's like, hey, we're up 5%, we're down 5%, whatever it is. And I thought
Mhm,
that was a brilliant way to like take some of the fear away from like, I don't know your exact, revenue for the year, but I know kind of in general for our industry, if everybody else is up 20 and I'm down 50, whatever it is, you can kind of
mhm.
actually have a good benchmark. So I
And
thought
what
that
am
was
I
really
doing wrong, right? You can
yeah,
see.
yeah, absolutely. Because you're right. I mean, I think it's helpful to just be able to, ask those honest questions and say, especially I think when you're dealing with, clients and things like that, and you're like, wait, am I crazy? Am I wrong in this? Being able to kind of troubleshoot and figure out, if you need to adjust something or how you can kind of get through an issue. I think that's invaluable. So what else, in terms of now, Bo, what else have you been able to experience or are you looking forward to experiencing, with your membership? Anything like that on the horizon?
I am just taking advantage of all the opportunities. All the growth that y'all have planned is amazing, whether it's just meeting up for a coffee, whether it's a luncheon, whether it's a monthly meeting. I am going to be speaking at the one coming up here on the 22nd. So
Yes. Yay. So
yeah,
exciting.
but there's just so much growth that's there. Like it's built in for us to grow. We just have to get the confidence to put a foot out there and like go.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. No, I'm glad you brought up our monthly meeting because that is gonna be
Mhm.
one of my favorites. It is our TED style. We can't officially say it's a TED Talk, but it's a TEDx style talk. So tell me a little bit more. What is your topic? Can you give us like a little teeny tiny sneak peek?
Sure. So I'm going to be talking about how we can elevate not only our brand and our identity, but our own personal like self and what that
Mm.
looks like across. Um, so like mentoring, collaboration, systems. We're going to be talking about all the things and how I fell on my face, of course. And now I have these tools to help everyone else not fall on their face because it's not
Yes.
necessary.
Right, yeah. I love that. That's such a great, direction to take the talk. I know, we've got, I think, 5 or 6 women speaking, would l be super excited to hear from you and hear what you have to share, but that meeting is always so great because it feels like you get, you know, so many quick kind of hard-hitting moments,
Mhm.
that by the end of it, you're like, "Wow, I'm just, overwhelmed by all the inspiring information you've just taken in."
Oh,
But that will be, if you are watching right now and interested, that will be this upcoming Thursday. If you want to come and join us, there's actually that QR code that's right above us. You can scan and still register for that monthly meeting if you'd like to come hear Jeanette speak or any of our fabulous speakers. So, congratulations. That's really exciting.
thanks. I'm excited. Yeah, that was another one of my goals to just be everywhere. If
Yes.
somebody's doing a thing, I'm gonna just say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you enjoy public speaking? Is that something that like still gets you kind of shaken in your boots, or are you like, absolutely, let's do it?
So an old version of my identity way back when used to be very fearful of getting in front of public speaking things. Like, oh my God, are they gonna want to listen to me? Like,
Yeah.
what do I actually have to say? Like all that imposter syndrome used to come in.
Yep. Yep.
But I am currently working on a new version of myself as we all change ourselves throughout the different stages of life. And
Mhm.
I'm actually really excited about it, not so much nervous. I always remind myself I know what I know, and I don't have to be fearful that I'm going to forget what I know because it's
Mm.
ingrained. And
Mhm.
I am being supported by an entire room of other women entrepreneurs who aren't going to let me fall.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's a very positive, atmosphere, so I agree. I think, you'll do great, and I love the idea of, like, I am currently working on a new version of myself who does this.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. What other what would you say would be one of your favorite sort of mental health, mental wellness, tips or
Mhm.
your kind of philosophies that you want everybody to know?
Oh goodness, there's so many. So many tips out there. But I think since we are a women organization, we can talk about um, us feeling like we have to do it all. I know I
Mhm.
am a single mother. I run, oh my gosh, 3 businesses.
Mhm.
So I used to be stuck in that mindset that chaos is what I needed to continue to like create so
Mm.
that I can avoid the things that I don't want to deal with right now,
Mm.
continue creating and staying busy. And I think a lot of us believe that we have to be busy all the time.
Yeah.
And if we slow down, that means we're not good enough, we're lazy, we're not productive, we're not a good mom, we're not a good wife. And it doesn't mean that at all.
Mm,
So I always challenge my clients to look at what they're currently doing and ask themselves, like, is this working for me? I know it wasn't working for me being busy all the time. I felt burned out, and being burned out. I mean, who wants to do that? It's not fun.
mm, mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I say that. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, I think the thing that also, what I'm hearing you say too is that I think if we let it kind of die down and get quiet, that if there's things
Mhm.
we haven't dealt with, like the fear is that, okay, now all of that's gonna come up because if I just stay busy, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to like process or, let any of that in.
Uh-huh. Out of sight, out of mind. But
Mhm.
I think it's real important for us to kind of like stand back for a moment, look at what's happening in front of us. Do we like what we see? Do we like what we feel? Do we like what we're thinking? And if the answer is no, then go see a therapist. Go see a
Mhm.
coach if you don't want to see a therapist.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
a coach is going to be the next best thing. They
Mhm.
they may not be trained in the clinical stuff, but they have some really great things that they can help you with. Um,
Mhm.
but asking yourself, like, if this isn't working for me, I need to make a change.
Mm.
And a lot of that change process in therapy has to do with understanding why we feel like we always have to be so busy. And then
Mhm.
understanding the why. And then from there, creating little things to help us change that old belief
Mm.
and implement something new.
Right. Right. Well, and I think as women too, we are so sometimes we can be so tough to think we can just power through it and like, oh, I'll deal with my stuff when the kids are out of school, or I'll deal with my stuff when the kids are, off to college or whatever it is. It's like, no, 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 this is fine. This is fine. This is fine until I get to whatever milestone. And I think
Mhm.
what you're saying is like your life can be good now. You don't have to wait until it's convenient to deal with all of these things that you're
No.
burying. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
It's not necessary. Like, you can definitely address it now, and you don't have to wait for the kids to be grown, and you don't have to wait for anything, really. I mean, I've got
Mhm.
a 5-year-old, and I'm still working on me.
Yeah. 5 is fun. 5 is definitely, when, you're dealing with kind of a lot of coming at you all at once, so,
It's
very cool. Well, how can people, if they are interested in learning more about your business, about booking a therapy session, finding more about your therapist, how can people get in touch with you?
Sure. So you can go to two places, either www.jeanettelira.com, and that is my personal brand website that has all the business information, and it'll direct you everywhere you need to go. I have a podcast also, so that's on there if you're ever interested in hearing women and how we rewrote our stories. That's what it's all about. Or you can also just go to auraviatherapy.com, and it'll show all of our therapists. They'll have bios about themselves, how to book, and we would love to be able to help you.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeanette. This has been a lot of fun, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear your TED Talk on Thursday. It's gonna be super, inspiring, I'm sure, and very well done. We are so happy to have you as a member of NAWBO. So if you are interested in learning more about Jeanette, you just heard how you can get in touch with her. If you'd like to learn more about NAWBO and sign up for some of our upcoming events, if you are not a member yet, you can come to 2 events for free or, at least not have to become a member yet, if you'd like. So feel free to scan that QR code up above or go to nowbosa.org and find out more. So thanks again, Jeanette. It was great to chat.